Uh, I wanted to show how my life is always manipulated to experience disgusting things. So I'm getting like sexual arousals. And you see the picture at the bottom. At the bottom, you see pictures of like random things. I go on like a dating app. There's somebody on the there's a like a little like frame of a child in the background that make me feel stimulation. I go on my like social media. There's a woman holding a child that give me stimulations. I go on YouTube. There's a kid. You see that, and then it's nonstop. It's always like that. And then they try to find ways to make me subscribe to these things. Right now, what they're making me think, you see this woman holding this little baby like a 2-year-old, like adorable little girl. They're giving me like sexual stimulation and saying, you see that picture on top in green? They say like 6 months before you took this picture, around that time, you're feeling that kind of feelings. We matched it to this. It's not the pedophilia things that you hear that all these other people are saying. We just matched it to them. It's you when you're a kid. And then you hear this trust. And as they were making me experience these things, it's like they remind me when I was like just turned 12 years old. And I remember my cousin telling me to keep an eye on her daughter, right? At the party, at this Christmas party. And they gave me this sexual stimulation now. Into my memories. Like literally like a stimulation, as intense stimulation, which they try to implant in my memories. And then say, you felt like that when you're a kid. And then they're like, no, but remember what you did as a kid? It's like, I wasn't feeling these nasty things. You're forcing me to feel these things. They manipulate my memories. And the stupid part is, they're saying, you, in the 30s, right? What you're experiencing is what you experienced when you were that young. As a kid, there. It's not the pedophilia things we're forcing you to experience. We're matching. It's not these things that you keep hearing. We dare to match you as a kid. We dared. That's daring. And as they try to make me imagine, you hear this childlike individuals like, awkward. It's like, yeah, okay. Oh no, you come me with this real memory. Try to implant memories in me as a child. And when you see somebody like a very cute, chubby looking, you get this different, like a feeling, oh, I just want to squeeze a little girl, squeeze a little kid, just also or whatever. Like they change that feeling into going to my growing area and give me a sexual stimulation instead. It's like that. It's like that's how you felt it when you were a kid. That young over there, as young as this kiddo you see in the picture. Until we matched. And so every time I see a child, they give me stimulations. It's like, oh, wherever I see it. I see it in the background. I see it. Oh, the stimulus you. And then to fuck with me, to mess with me, sorry. They're like, oh, you're dying. It's like, yes, like this woman you hear and talking about the pedophilia type of torture. And it's just so obvious. And they're like, no, we matched it. You pay for what you did as a kid. This is stupidity. You're going to hear the torture they do to kids as young as this kid that you sing here. And they're like, we're going to win. It's like, win what? It's been the obvious validation that you guys do the pedophilia type of torture. You're going to win by saying that you make me feel like a kid, like that young? That's as young as that kid? Is that what you mean about winning? Do you understand how delusional these people are? That you don't do the pedophilia type of torture, but what you're doing is making me feel like I would feel when I was this young. As you see us. You who do all this pedophilia type of torture, that you match this feeling I would feel when I was that young. When I was a child. And it's not the pedophilia things you do. Do you understand how stupidity you just can hit them? And they wonder when things happen like, oh my gosh, he's such a magical guy. No, you have to dumb yourself down. You're literally saying that, well, how you making me feel today is what you match to when I was a kid that young. Who is as young as, just not even, this is preteen by the way, huh? It's not even, that's how you felt there. And they manipulate my memories and make me think of my little cousin and give me stimulations. the daughter of my cousin, and give me this strong stimulation that they make me have when I'm seeing this kid, the little one, the baby, where the woman is holding. It starts give me this weird sensation. It's like we matched it. No, you make me experience that, and then put that in my memory, and then match. It's like I decided to put this card there, they're the same. I was like, we matched. Oh, but the stupid to the stupidity, what they matched, quote unquote match to you when you as young as that. So when you were a kid at that age, you feel the stimulations. And what you're doing now, what's happening to you now as an adult man, is we're making you feel what you're feeling around that same age, but today as an adult man, we matched it. And ignore the pedophilia things that you hear this. Ignore that. No, we don't do that. No, ask no. Do you understand? This is what they do. This is how they want you to accept things. They want you to think that what we do is to make you think like a child. And we're not doing the pedophilia type of torture. First of all, they're forcing me to have these false memories as a kid who's this young. Then make me think that what we're doing is we're making you feel the same thing that you feel when you're this kid. And forget about the pedophilia and the torture of the children, and forget about the fact that there's a bunch of pedophiles in our agency. No, we're matching. To disorient you, what they say, fall. Tell my target individual, do not subscribe to this nastiness, this retardation. They are the ones making you experience these things. And then you play with your memories as a child, like, oh, you felt that before when you were a kid. Yeah, you're making me feel like this. And even that's stupid. You're saying you're making me feel like a child. You who do the pedophilia type of torture. Do you understand? When I see them, that's why I see them for the low-life, bottom-feeders, pedos that they are. Told my target individual, stay strong. Because this coward low-life that are working for pedophiles are here saying, we match it to you as a child. These bottom feeders. Trash.
Putting thoughts of pedophilia. This disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. This is somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind. Putting thoughts of pedophilia. This disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know how they do it. I don't care. I don't know if it's through weapons. I don't know. I don't care. I just don't want it. I don't want it in my
being tailored pornography. The summary of the Senate torture report disclosed the disgusting revelations that in the secret torture prisons the targets were forced to perform homosexual acts on each other against their will and religion in order not to be beaten or killed. This is a common breakdown tactic of belief systems and the human will. In no-touch torture the techniques are more psychologically specialized for each target. Most common examples include homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds. And
one of them is referring to homosexuals. Down, and they are doing this. So I told them that I know what you are trying to do, and I started laughing, and then I said again out loud, you'll never take my will, ass. So just to show them that I meant what I said, I kept playing with my dog, and even though that attacks continue, I don't let them get me. Today they continue with the programming of perversion, but this time they are aiming in the use of people, better said young people, also children and homosexuals.
Nations of sensory and motor manipulation of my mind and body and of the people around me, and sometimes numbers and other symbols. Nations of sensory and motor manipulation of my mind and body and of the people around me. and sometimes numbers and other symbols used to threaten torture. This forces me to open my eyes, even when I'm so sleep deprived. I experience frequently someone is electrocuting my genitals repeatedly. I also often see highly disturbing pornographic images and videos, including highly disturbing pedophilia type of images and videos when I close my eyes. It also includes videos of violence and grotesque figures and torture. Every day has been a miracle of survival. I also experience what is referred to as malodorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including her arm. She has also grabbed her crotch, saying, "Ow," and this was used to threaten me with severe sexual torture. One day I also observed her gasping for air a few times in the same way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated, then I began to experience very extreme suffocation all day, every day, for about 2 months straight, and that's also when they made it worse when I eat. Then I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, "Ow." I observed this at least on 1 or 2 occasions for each of them during their separate sessions. In one session,
can be used to control the muscle movement of the target, causing spasms. They can also inflict pain in any part of the body. This technology can be used to sexually manipulate the target. It can make the target feel sexual arousal or
so this kind of stuff doesn't happen.
It's awful. There are some examples that BuzzFeed gives, and like you said, only one actually served any jail time for this. One employee had sexual contact. This is one employee of the CIA had sexual contact with a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. He was simply fired. One employee purchased sexually explicit videos of young girls filmed by their mothers. He resigned. One employee estimated that he had viewed up to 1,400 sexually abusive images of children while on agency assignments. Not sure what actions, if any, were taken by him. One contractor arranged for sex with an undercover FBI agent. I think that you mentioned that. Posing as a child, he had his contract revoked. One CIA staffer was charged with child sexual crimes, and the employee was also under investigation for mishandling classified material. The CIA did not answer detailed questions, saying only that the agency takes all allegations of possible criminal misconduct committed by personnel seriously. So
talking about it on YouTube. That's a direct quote.
wow. Okay, here's more from this, and we'll finish this and then move on to the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. But sexual crimes involving children, says BuzzFeed, including the viewing of images of abuse, have been uncovered at other agencies that handle sensitive information. In a November 2009 report, the Department of Defense acknowledged that dozens of Pentagon staff members or contractors had such images. In 2014, the Inspector General of the Intelligence Community found that 2 officials from the National Reconnaissance Office, which oversees America's spy satellites, acknowledged viewing images of child sexual abuse during polygraph examinations. This is so disturbing. At a symposium in 2016, Daniel Payne, a top Pentagon security official, said that when workers' computers were examined, the amount of child porn I see is just unbelievable. Is this something that is happening for whatever reason with more frequency in our intelligence agencies, or is this something that is more pervasive in the general population than I originally realized? I mean, what's going on here? This is so bizarre. Remember, it's so evil.
Allie, we're told And when I was put through recruitment into the Intel community, you're put through polygraphs, you're put through a rigorous selection process. Why aren't these people weeded out? Why are so many pedophiles allowed to be given top-level security clearance? Remember, these aren't just people walking in off the street and saying, hey, can I get hired? Can I get a job? You're put through an extremely rigorous background check screening process. It's called an SSBI, single scope background investigation. There are people, they interview you, they interview your family, they interview your contacts, they go through your online footprint, they go through everything. So why is it that when they're going through these footprints, they're not checking, these digital footprints, they're not checking for so many pedophiles getting through their ranks? If it were up to me, you need to go into Congress, and Congress needs to launch a brand new church committee, number one, to talk about domestic surveillance operations, but number two, to ask the question, why are there so many pedophiles sitting behind those computer screens within the walls of Langley, within the Pentagon, and throughout the broader intelligence community?
And the Secret Service of Lithuania has obtained and are using against the citizens state-of-the-art psychotronic weapons that can be used to manipulate and fabricate the processes in your psyche. From what I have experienced, they are able to impose any information on the brain of a person, presumably by some kind of waves, which in the mind take the form of voices, thoughts and images and imagination. In addition to this kind of implanting information that they need, they manipulate the psyche so that the information is written into your memory. Then by stimulating the certain regions in the brain, they can retrieve this information and present it as your own memory. This is